it's Paris and I'm back with another video. So today I just wanted to talk to you guys about don't miss God's plan for you. Don't miss out on God's plan for you. If God has told you to do something, if God is telling you to move, if God is telling you to leave something that is, comfortable for you right now and leaving feels uncomfortable, you need to do exactly what God told you to do. You need to be obedient, because if you are not obedient, you're going to miss out on God's plan for your life. All right, so with that being said, let's get into this video. So we're going to start with Genesis chapter 12, and we're going to start with verse 1 through 3, and then we're going to skip over to verse number 7, okay? So it says, "Then the Lord told Abram, leave your country, your relatives, and your father's house, and go to the land that I will show you. I will cause you to become the father of a great nation, and I will bless you and make you famous, and I will make you a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you." Okay, now skip down to verse 7. It says, "Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, I am going to give this land to your offspring." So I just wanted to stop right there. And I just wanted to say, if God has told you to do something, if God has told you to leave a job, if he has told you to leave a state, leave a city, leave a country, you need to be obedient. You need to be obedient, because blessings are attached to your obedience. People are attached to your obedience. God's plan, God's will for your life is attached to your obedience, okay? So you don't have time to be scared and saying, well, I've never done this before, or, I don't know what's on the other side. God wants you to be obedient, because there's something bigger on the other side, okay? And I know that it can be hard, because when God tells us to do something and we don't understand, or it's basically the unknown, we tend to want to stay where we are, because where we are is comfortable. Where we are, it feels normal, because we know this location, we know this area, we know this situation. But when God tells us to leave, it's the unknown. It's uncomfortable, okay? And so what I'm telling you is, God is calling some of his people to leave, okay? I don't know what leaving means for you. I don't know if it means, leaving the city, leaving the state, leaving the country, leaving a job, leaving a relationship. I don't know what that means for you. Only you know. But with that being said, if God is calling you to leave something, there is something else attached to your obedience, okay? So when God was calling Abraham to leave the country, he then gave him a promise. And that promise was, he says, I will bless you and I will make you famous. Then he said, and I will make you a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. All the families of the earth will be blessed through you. God gave him a promise after he told him what to do. Okay, so with that being said, there is a promise attached to your obedience. There is a promise attached to your obedience. So with that being said, are you going to be obedient, or are you going to live in fear? Are you going to stay where you are because you know that leaving is going to be uncomfortable for you? Are you going to stay where you are because you don't understand what God is doing? Let me tell you, you don't have to understand what God is doing, okay? I will always say, do things afraid. It's okay to be scared, but do things afraid. If God is telling you to do something, do it afraid, okay? As long as you keep moving, do it afraid, okay? I'm pretty sure Abraham was afraid. I'm pretty sure he was wondering, like, why do I have to move and I have a whole family? Abraham, he had a whole family, and God told him to move. God told him to leave, okay? So he took his family. He had to leave. And we see in verse 4, it says, so Abram departed as the Lord had instructed him, and Lot went with him. So he actually left. He was obedient. And so what I'm telling you is that if God is telling you to leave something, leaving a relationship, leaving a job, leaving a city, state, whatever, you need to be obedient. There is something on the other side that is attached, okay? There's a promise attached. There is a blessing attached. There are people attached. Some of you, your future spouse is attached to your obedience. You're wondering, okay, God, why haven't you sent my spouse? But you haven't been obedient. You haven't left, okay? So again, some of the things that you've been praying for are attached to your obedience, okay? So God calls us righteous people, and he calls us righteous when we live by faith. Okay, he doesn't call his people righteous because of the good deeds that they've done. He calls his people righteous because they live by faith. So God is calling you to live by faith. What is God telling you to leave? What is God telling you to leave? Some of you guys need to think about that. What is God telling you to leave? Because whatever he's telling you to leave, there is a promise attached to that. There's a purpose attached to that. There's people attached to that. Okay, so God is calling his people to be obedient, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on God's plan. And the last thing I'm going to say, this is also in my Bible. It says, God promised to bless Abram and make him famous, but there was one condition. Abram had to do what God wanted him to do. This meant leaving his home and friends and traveling to a new land where God promised to build a great nation from Abram's family. Abram obeyed, leaving his home for God's promise of even greater blessings in the future. God may be trying to lead you to a place of greater service and usefulness for him. Don't let the comfort and security of your present position make you miss out on God's plan for you. So I can end the video right here, but I just want to say, if God is calling you to do something, do it. If you don't do it, you're going to miss out on God's plan for your life. Okay, I would hate for you to miss out on what God has planned for you, because keep in mind, God knows what's best for us, okay? Everything he does for our good. He does for our good. So with that being said, he knows best. He knows what's best for us, okay? So you think you had a calling then, before, but God has a even greater calling for you on the other side of your obedience, okay? So I hope that this encourages you, and I hope and pray that you don't miss out on God's blessing, okay? All right? So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.